This is Ask a Couples Counsellor, a show that answers all the relationship questions you're too afraid to ask. On the show, we'll take your questions and give you the tools you need to build trust and intimacy with your partner. I'm your host, Neha Kapoor. I'm a registered clinical counsellor and psychotherapist, and I'm really passionate about helping couples navigate the challenges that we all go through. Because after all, every relationship encounters some stormy weather now and then. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Ask a Couples Counsellor, where we dive into the raw, unspoken truth of love, connection, and human relationships. Today, we're unpacking the questions most of us are too scared to ask out loud. The moments where love feels messy, confusing, or even uncomfortable. We'll explore why caring can sometimes feel like mothering. What separates relationships that survive from those that crumble? And how to finally start receiving love when you've spent a lifetime feeling unworthy. If you've ever wondered why love scares you, why partnerships fail, or how to be truly seen, this episode will give you answers, insights, and hard-earned wisdom that might just change the way you experience every relationship in your life. All right, let's get into it. Our first question for today comes from Dana in Sydney. Let's have a listen to Dana's question.
Is there a fine line between mothering your partner and caring for your partner, and how do you manage that?
That's such a brilliant question, Dana. And honestly, it's one that exposes one of the most subtle and damaging dynamics in relationships. There is a fine line between caring for your partner and mothering them. And it all comes down to intention, boundaries, and emotional responsibility. Caring says, I see you as capable, but I want to support you. Mothering says, I don't trust that you can handle it, so I'll do it for you. When we slip into mothering energy, reminding, rescuing, fixing, over-explaining, we often think it's love. But underneath, it's usually anxiety or control disguised as care. It's us saying, if I don't hold it all together, things will fall apart. And that dynamic quietly erodes attraction, partnership, and equality. Because the thing is, the more we overfunction, the more our partner underfunctions. And before long, you've got a parent-child dynamic, not a romantic one. One person feels exhausted and unseen, and the other feels inadequate and defensive. So, how do you manage that? So what I say is start by asking yourself, am I helping out of love or out of fear? If it's love, it feels light, generous, and respectful of your partner's autonomy. If it's fear, it feels heavy, anxious, or resentful, like you're carrying a load that was never meant to be yours. So true care means supporting your partner's growth, not preventing their discomfort. And it's saying, I trust you to figure this out, and I'm here if you need me. And that's the sweet spot. Love that empowers, not love that enables. Because healthy relationships aren't built on one person being the caretaker and the other being the cared for. They're built on two adults, side by side, both capable, both responsible, both growing. That's when care feels like connection, not like control. I hope that answers your question, Dana. Our second question for today comes from Louise in Perth. Let's have a listen to Louise's question.
What's the biggest difference between a relationship that will last and one that won't?
Louise, that's such a powerful question and one I think about often, both as a therapist and as someone who's lived and loved deeply myself. I've spent years sitting across from couples, some who make it and some who don't. And honestly, the biggest difference between a relationship that lasts and one that doesn't isn't chemistry or compatibility, or even how much they love each other. It's how willing they are to face the hard truths together. The relationships that fall apart, on the other hand, are often full of people who love each other, but who stop being curious. They stop trying to understand. They defend more than they listen. They prioritize being right over being real. Because love alone, like I say, isn't enough. Love gives you the connection, but emotional maturity gives you the longevity. The couples who make it choose growth over ego, vulnerability over pride, and repair over distance. Again and again and again. And maybe the deepest truth I've learned, Louise, is this: the relationships that last are not the ones that never break. They're the ones that learn how to put themselves back together lovingly and honestly every time they do. That's what keeps love alive, not perfection, not fairy tales. Just two imperfect people still choosing each other and still doing the work. I hope that answers your question, Louise. Our last question for today comes from Sharon in Sydney. Let's have a listen to Sharon's question.
I get scared when my girlfriend tells me how much she loves me, not because I don't feel the same way, but because I don't think I deserve it. How do I overcome my low self-esteem and insecurities?
Sharon, this is such an honest and courageous question, because what you've described is something so many people quietly live with, but few ever say out loud. When someone loves us deeply and we don't believe we deserve it, that love doesn't feel safe. It feels threatening. Not because there's anything wrong with them loving us, but because it shines a light on the parts of ourselves we've spent years trying to hide. Psychologically, this is about discomfort with being seen. When you've carried self-doubt, criticism, or shame for a long time, love can feel like exposure, as if someone's staring straight into the parts of you that you've judged, minimized, or rejected. And your nervous system says, no, this can't be right. I haven't earned this. But here's the truth, Sharon. You don't earn love by being perfect. You receive it by allowing yourself to be human. You're not struggling with love. You're struggling with receiving love while still holding an old story about yourself. A story that says you're not enough, not worthy, not lovable as you are. Emotionally, this means your partner's love is brushing up against your deepest wound, the one that says, I'm not good enough. And that wound doesn't heal by pushing love away. It heals when you let yourself stay in the love and notice the discomfort without running from it. Every time she tells you she loves you and you feel that instinct to shrink or doubt, pause, take a breath. And instead of saying, I don't deserve this, try asking, what if this is what healing feels like? Because it is. Healing often feels uncomfortable before it feels beautiful. And here's what I want you to remember. When someone loves you well, they're not showing you who you're not. They're showing you who you've always been, beneath the noise, beneath the shame, beneath the old narratives. So your work isn't to become more deserving of her love. It's to start believing the version of you she already sees. That's how low self-esteem transforms, not through perfection, but through permission. The permission to be loved exactly as you are, even while you're still learning to love yourself. I hope that answers your question, Sharon. What I've learned over years of sitting with couples is this: love isn't comfortable. It's messy, raw, and sometimes terrifying. But the relationships that survive, the ones that last, aren't the ones without conflict, fear, or doubt. They're the ones where two people show up fully human, fully flawed, and fully committed to growth together. So stop hiding, stop shrinking, and stop thinking you have to earn love. Receive it, own it, and never settle for anything less than the love that sees all of you and still chooses you. And before I go, if you have any burning questions you want answered, send them to novoempowercounselling@gmail.com. Let's navigate this journey together, because better relationships start with understanding. I can't wait to hear from you. You've been listening to Ask a Couples Counselor, a show that answers all the relationship questions you're too afraid to ask. This show is produced by Novo Empower Counselling. We provide a range of services, including couples counselling, individual counselling, and online counselling. To find out more, visit our website novoempowercounselling.com.au. This show was produced with strategy and production support from Wavelength Creative. To make sure you don't miss an episode of Ask a Couples Counsellor, be sure to subscribe to or follow the show in your podcast app. And while you're there, I'd love it if you could leave me a 5-star review. It really helps others find the show. I'm your host, Neha Kapoor, and I'll see you in the next episode.